Are you about to book your next flight? Before you click confirm, you need to know about the sneaky changes airlines made to plane seats in 2025 that could ruin your entire trip. Which seat mistake could cost you hundreds of dollars and leave you miserable for hours? Number 5. Exit row seats with no recline. Have you ever paid extra for an exit row seat only to discover you can't recline for the entire 8-hour flight? Airlines love to sell exit row seats as premium options because of the extra legroom. But here's what they don't tell you. Many exit row seats, especially those in front of another exit row, don't recline at all. According to Seat Guru's 2025 airline seating database, over 85% of exit rows that are followed by another exit row have zero recline capability. In 2025, airlines like American and Delta have actually increased the number of these non-reclining exit row seats on their new plane layouts. American's newest A321neo configuration has doubled the number of these premium, non-reclining seats compared to their older models. Delta's refreshed Boeing 767 fleet now features what they call priority exit seating, which costs up to $75 extra but includes 4 rows that don't recline at all. The worst part? These seats are rarely clearly marked during the booking process. The fine print about limited recline is often buried deep in the seat selection details. Even major booking sites like Expedia and Kayak don't consistently warn customers about this limitation. Flight attendant Sarah Johnson, who works for a major U.S. airline, shared this insider trick. Always look for the seat details icon or click on the specific seat in the booking map. If you see any mention of limited recline or exit row restrictions, that's code for no recline at all in most cases. For your next flight, use specialized sites like Seat Guru or airlineseatmaps.com to check your specific flight's seating chart before paying that premium. Your back will thank you, and you'll save money by avoiding these misleading premium options. Want to know another seat that looks good but actually isn't? Let's move on to number 4. Number 4. Last row before the bathroom. Did you know that the seats right before airplane bathrooms are getting even worse in 2025 and could completely ruin your travel experience? If you've ever sat in the last row right before the bathroom, you know exactly why this is on our list. According to a 2025 Consumer Air Travel Report, these seats receive the lowest satisfaction scores across all major airlines, with an average rating of just 2.1 out of 10. The latest 2025 plane designs from Boeing and Airbus have actually made this problem worse by squeezing in more seats and making bathrooms smaller. Boeing's new 737 MAX 10 configuration has reduced bathroom size by 30% compared to older models while adding 12 more seats. This means more passengers using fewer, smaller bathrooms, creating longer lines right next to your seat. You'll deal with constant traffic, people bumping your seat, and yes, those bathroom smells. Air quality testing by Aviation Consumer Reports found that seats within 3 feet of airplane bathrooms had significantly higher levels of odor-causing particles and cleaning chemical residues in the air. Plus, these seats usually have limited or no recline because of the wall behind them. On many airlines' newer planes, including United's A321XLR, the engines are also placed closer to the back, making these seats up to 4 decibels louder than mid-cabin seats, according to engineering specifications. Flight expert Maria Rodriguez suggests this booking strategy. When selecting seats, look for the bathroom icons on the seating chart. Then count at least 2 rows forward from these icons to avoid the bathroom zone completely. If booking through the airline's app, use the 3D seat view feature that many now offer to check your proximity to bathrooms. Think that's bad? Wait until you hear about number 3. But first, hit subscribe now so you never miss our daily insider tips that airlines don't want you to know about. Number 3. Middle seats in the back rows. Ever wondered why you feel so squished and miserable in those back row middle seats, even when you paid the same price as everyone else? Middle seats are never great, but middle seats in the back rows of planes are even worse in 2025. According to the International Air Transport Association's latest passenger comfort report, back row middle seats scored the lowest satisfaction rating across all seat types, with an average rating of just 1.8 out of 10. Many airlines have updated their seating charts this year, adding an extra seat per row in economy sections of wide-body planes. Emirates, United, and American have all introduced this new, space-saving design on their long-haul flights. United's new Boeing 777-300ER configuration now crams 10 seats across instead of the previous 9, reducing seat width from 18.5 inches to a tiny 16.8 inches. That's nearly 2 inches of space you're losing. Being stuck in one of these narrow middle seats at the back of the plane for 10+ hours feels like being trapped in a sardine can. Your shoulders will be pressed against strangers on both sides, and your elbows will battle for armrest space the entire flight. Plus, according to Boeing's own flight dynamics data, the back of the plane is where you'll feel the most turbulence, up to 45% more movement than in the middle section. This makes your cramped experience even more uncomfortable as you bounce around in your tiny seat. Former airline booking agent Tanya Williams shares this insider trick. Many airlines now use dynamic pricing algorithms that lower the cost of these undesirable seats as the departure date approaches. If you wait until 24 to 48 hours before your flight to select seats, these back row middle seats often drop to their lowest price or even become free. Then you can grab a better seat that normally costs extra without paying the premium. While other passengers are crammed in discomfort, you'll be stretching out in a better seat, perhaps even with an empty spot next to you, feeling refreshed and ready to start your vacation, while others arrive cranky and sore. Ready to discover an even worse seat option? Let's check out number 2. Number 2. Bulkhead seats with fixed armrests. Have you noticed how those supposedly premium bulkhead seats are actually leaving passengers more trapped and uncomfortable than ever before? Bulkhead seats seem great because they're at the front of a cabin section with extra legroom. But here's the truth, they can be a nightmare. A 2025 study by Skytrax, the leading airline review site, found that passenger complaints about bulkhead seats have increased by 68% in the past year alone. In 2025, most airlines have installed new, space-efficient bulkheads with fixed armrests that can't be raised. Delta, United, and British Airways have all switched to these rigid designs on their newest planes. According to airline technical specifications, these new armrests are secured with metal brackets that make them completely immovable, unlike regular seats where armrests can lift up. This means you're completely stuck in your defined space with no way to stretch out, even if there's an empty seat next to you. Passengers report feeling trapped and claustrophobic even during short flights. These seats also have smaller tray tables that fold out from the armrest instead of the seat in front of you. On American Airlines' newest A321neo planes, these tray tables are 23% smaller than standard economy tray tables, barely fitting a 13-inch laptop. The biggest problem? According to the Aviation Consumer Protection Division, many airlines have decreased the padding on these seats by up to 25% to save weight, making them less comfortable for long flights. Aviation journalist Carlos Mendez offers this valuable tip. Ask at the check-in counter if they have any emergency exit row seats available instead of bulkhead. They often hold these back and will release them for free at check-in if you specifically request them. Emergency exit rows give you the same legroom without the fixed armrests and tiny tray tables. When you follow this advice, you'll be comfortably stretching your legs with the freedom to move your arms naturally, while the passengers in bulkhead seats struggle with their meals balanced on tiny tables, feeling like they're sitting in a rigid box for hours. And now for the absolute worst plane seat in 2025. Number 1. Seats near the new standing room sections. Did you know some airlines are now testing standing sections on planes, and sitting anywhere near them is like trying to relax in the middle of a crowded subway car? Yes, you heard that right. In 2025, budget airlines like Ryanair and Spirit have started testing standing room sections on some short flights to pack in more passengers. According to the Federal Aviation Administration's 2025 Airline Innovation Report, these sections are currently being tested on flights under 2 hours in Europe and select U.S. domestic routes. These standing sections feature what the airlines call vertical seats, which are really just padded boards with minimal support that passengers lean against rather than sit on. Ryanair's CEO Michael O'Leary confirmed in a March 2025 press conference that these sections allow them to fit 20% more passengers on short-haul flights. If you're seated next to or in front of these areas, you're in for a miserable flight. Aviation safety expert Mark Thompson describes it as being seated next to a constantly shifting crowd. These sections have no clear boundaries, with standing passengers often spreading into regular seating areas and reaching over seats to access overhead bins. Flight attendants have reported that these sections create what they call chaos zones, where passengers are constantly moving, shifting positions due to discomfort, and creating significant noise throughout the flight. A survey by the Association of Flight Attendants found that 89% of crew members reported increased passenger conflicts in areas adjacent to these standing sections. Even worse, these sections are often located near reduced-size bathrooms, combining two terrible features in one awful location. Spirit Airlines' newest A320 configuration places standing sections directly opposite their new compact lavatory design, which is 40% smaller than standard airplane bathrooms. Veteran flight attendant Jessica Ramirez shares this crucial advice. When booking flights on budget carriers, always check if your flight might have a standing section by calling customer service directly. The booking websites often don't clearly mark these sections. Ask specifically, does this flight have vertical seating or standing sections? Then request to be seated at least 4 rows away from these areas. One common mistake people make is assuming that paying for standard seat selection means they'll be far from these standing areas. Budget airlines often place their cheapest paid selection seats right next to standing sections, counting on passengers not knowing about this arrangement. When you follow this advice and secure a seat far from standing sections, you'll be peacefully reading or napping in your seat while other passengers deal with constant jostling, noise, and frustration. You'll arrive at your destination feeling refreshed and ready to start your trip, instead of already exhausted from fighting for your personal space. Airlines are constantly updating their seating layouts, making it harder to know which spots to avoid without insider knowledge. The travel industry changes quickly, but staying informed helps you dodge these uncomfortable seats on your next flight. Hit subscribe now to get our weekly updates on the best and worst airplane seats across all major airlines. Remember, choosing the right seat can make the difference between arriving refreshed or completely exhausted from your journey.